Welcome, muggles, wizards, and witches alike, to the first ever episode of Whimsical Wizardry,
the podcast where we as siblings fawn over everything Harry Potter.
We are your hosts. I am Kenneth Campbell.
And I'm Brittany Howard.
This week, we are going to be explaining how each section of the Whimsical Wizardry podcast works.
Along the way, we're also going to be doing some exciting activities.
Welcome to the first segment, Owl Onset. We will be dipping into the book world of Harry Potter by discussing a chapter a week.
This will give us a chance to talk about our thoughts, feelings, and insights about the text.
This week, though, instead of discussing one whole chapter, we will be reading the first paragraph of Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone and talking about our experiences when we read the first book for the first time. Now, we are going to go ahead and start.
Mr. and Mrs. Dursley of number 4 Privet Drive were proud to say that they were perfectly normal, thank you very much. They were the last people you'd expect to be involved in anything strange or mysterious, because they just didn't hold with such nonsense. Mr. Dursley was the director of a firm called Grunnings, which made drills.
He was a big, beefy man, with hardly any neck, although he did have a very large mustache. Mrs. Dursley was thin and blonde, and had nearly twice the usual amount of neck, which came in very useful, as she spent so much of her time craning over garden fences, spying on neighbors. The Dursleys had a small son called Dudley, and in their opinion, there was no finer boy anywhere.
All right, so that was the first, portion of the first book. What did you think?
I don't know, it was unusual. It's not the type of book that I would usually choose, because it really hasn't gone into Harry yet.
Right. And it seems like just a regular, normal fiction book, nothing weird. We're just learning about a family.
Yeah. And it seems like you would kind of be focusing on Dudley, but really, you're really not.
Right. Which is really cool because Harry is an afterthought in the family. And we know that because we'll see further where he lives and how they treat him. And so it's cool that the author started without showing Harry. He is an afterthought.
Yeah, it kind of is. And it really describes Mrs. Dursley and Mr. Dursley. They're kind of weird. They act like they're normal, but really Mrs. Dursley is peering over garden fences, doing a ton of weird stuff.
I mean, I also like that they describe Mr. Dursley with his job as being super important in the book. I don't think in the movie they really stressed, besides the one meeting that he had with his boss, they really stressed how important his job was to him.
Yeah, I feel like they really didn't, because it was just I don't know. I feel like in the first movie, it was just him getting mad at Harry a ton.
Right. So it is cool to see he was the director of the firm and he was really important. So they were they could pretend to be normal.
Yeah. So yeah, what did you think of this when you first read it as a kid?
So this is so interesting because this was I remember reading this when I was in 3rd grade is when this first book came out. And one of the 4th grade teachers would read this to us over lunch period. And she specifically read the whole first Harry Potter book to us. And I remember being so fascinated with this book. Even from the very beginning, just sitting and listening to her and just being enthralled by everything that was happening. The writing was just so cozy almost.
That's pretty interesting because actually my 5th grade teacher started reading these 2 books to us too. She started with The Philosopher's Stone, and then she went on to Chamber of Secrets, which I thought, they were both very good, but I loved Sorcerer's Stone. And it was just this kid can do magic and he's a bit weird. That's pretty cool. And, I just fell in love with it sort of.
Yeah. I just feel like the first book is so it's where it all begins. It's so magical,
Yeah, and the funny part is when I actually very first started, my teacher was like, okay, let's do a vote. What do you want to read? And it was this or some other book that I can't even remember because it wasn't even as good as this book. And most people voted Harry Potter, but I didn't. And I was like, that I've heard that that's not a good book. I don't want to read it. And now it's actually one of my favorite things.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
it is by far one of my favorites. And even like if we were to rank the books, which I'm sure we'll do in a later podcast, like we'll rank the books with how we like them.
Mhm.
The first one is one of my all-time favorites.
Yeah, and it kind of like shows that it has grown so much from the first book to like the last movie and book, and it shows how different kind of her writing kind of grew, you know?
Yeah, she definitely evolved as a writer. And it's interesting to think that this story, I mean, if we look at like interviews, she started it on a napkin in a coffee shop, like, and it grew into something as big as the franchise is right now.
Yeah. And she really knows how important this is to like everyone. And, it's important to us as well.
Yeah, absolutely. So that was the first couple paragraphs, guys, and it's just something that we're going to read together and something fun that we'll take some time to discuss.
Yeah, it's going to be super fun, especially like when we get through the book. I mean, I can't believe that I don't know. I haven't reread this book in a while. It's probably been like 1 or 2 years, and I'm excited to reread the whole thing again.
Yeah, so am I. In our next section, Divination Digest, we're going to be discussing different TV shows and films that we enjoy.
Since we're just getting started, though, how about starting with talking about our favorite wizardry characters?
Perfect. So, Kennick, who's your favorite character?
Okay, so this is actually really interesting for me because when I actually first started, I was like, yeah, Harry's my guy. I like Harry. I want to hang out with him. He's the best. But now I think I have two favorite characters. I can't really decide between a lot of characters, but I have three sort of characters that I really connect with.
Okay, who are they?
The first one is Ron. I feel like our personalities just sort of match because, at times we're kind of like really happy and outgoing and such. And then in other times we're just like kind of leaning back and like scared.
Okay, I can see that. I can see similarities between you and Ron.
Yeah. And then my other favorite character is Luna Lovegood, which is actually, I don't know. I don't know why I like her so much. It's just she's kind of like different than everyone else, and she knows she's different, and she kind of, keeps going with that sort of theme and tries to live with it.
Yeah, she is quirky, and I also think that Luna is one of my favorite characters. She's not my favorite, but she's definitely in my top 5. And it's because she's so quirky and she's so confident in her quirkiness.
Yeah. I feel like she's just like it's like the Quibbler and the glasses and the the glasses are called spectrospecs and her lion costume. That's like what I think of when I think of her character.
Exactly. And like she's not even in Gryffindor, but she's so excited to like invite herself into her friend's house so that she can cheer for them.
Yeah, she's so excited. And then my last favorite character, and I kind of separated these from Ron and Luna Lovegood because it's Bellatrix. And she's so like, I don't know. I really love the crazy effect of these characters. And if I was including Chris Child, I would definitely include um
Delphi.
Delphi. Yeah, I would definitely include Delphi, but it's more of like Delphi and Bellatrix. They both fit and they're so crazy and I love that.
I can see why you would think that because they do add such a dynamic character drivenness to the book. Like you can't help but like be just hate Bellatrix because she's so evil.
Yeah, and
But
you don't really see that in any other character.
no, like she's like I mean even Voldemort like there's a sense of humanity in him, but
Hmm.
Bellatrix is like just like I'm going to kill you.
It's like it sort of drifted away where she used to have it and now it's gone.
Yeah, absolutely. Especially if you think of her backstory, which we know a little bit about. And again, I'm sure we'll get into as time goes on.
Yeah. So, my favorite characters. What are your favorite characters?
Absolutely. So I love Sirius Black. He is my all-time favorite character, and I think it's because one, he loved Harry so much, and his backstory is so heartbreaking. Like he lost his best friends, he lost his family, like he lost so much and he was able to come into Harry's life and like want to still be his godfather and want to be this amazing person, despite the hurt that he had and the heartbreak that he had. And like, like he went into Azkaban really, really young, like after he lost his
Hmm.
best friends, and he was innocent for that. And like the torture that that must have been like, and then to still come out as the person that he did, um, is inspiring. So I really like Sirius Black.
And it makes a lot of sense too. I mean, I've always known that you've loved him, but it's like I don't know, he's grown so much as a character because if you think about it, I can't really remember him from the books, but in the movies, it was like when he first got out of Azkaban, he was like searching for Peter. He all he wanted to do was kill Peter. But when he met Harry, that all changed and he didn't really care about like trying to find Peter anymore.
Yeah, and I think like the look of like, Harry, you look so much like James. Like it just it that line in the movie, like it just makes my heart melt because you can just sense it, like he's looking at his best friend, but it's his
Yeah.
best friend's kid. And so if I had to list like three, like the Marauders generation honestly is my favorite, and I would love a movie where they did it from the perspective of Sirius and Peter and James, and like Mooney. And I think it would be so great.
I love like a movie with someone that's narrating it. So if Sirius was narrating the movie of like him telling his story, that would be so cool.
Yeah, it really would, because like I said, like he's such a dynamic character again. And he has so many like compartments in his life that we could dig into. So I love his backstory, and I get into these like minor characters and like what the author says their backstory is, even if it's not in the book. Like I
Mhm.
love that stuff.
And fan fiction is there, and you get to like explore your character even more, even though it's not actually from the author.
Oh my gosh, the Wattpage app or Wattpad app, like where you can go and read from like tons of people around the world. Not sponsored, but they do have a lot of fan fiction in there where it's like this is great, and you can go along with any sort of fantasy that you want your character to be on, and you can probably find it.
There's so much. Yeah.
So yeah, that's wonderful. Well, I love these characters. I think, I don't know, I could talk all day about characters.
Next is something very special, our first ever silly sortings. Typically, we'll take the characters from Divination Digest and sort them into the houses we believe they fit best in. It's kind of like we will take Luna Lovegood and Bellatrix and Delphi and Ron, and we will just sort them in.
So we're kind of going to act like the sorting hat.
Exactly, but what do each of the houses represent?
I think that's a great place to start because each house offers something different. Like my personal favorite is Ravenclaw, but then again, I am partially biased.
No, Gryffindor is the best.
All right. Well, I bet you guys can all guess which houses we represent. So, Kinnick, how about we start with this? What does Gryffindor mean to you?
Gryffindor really doesn't mean what everyone else thinks it means. Everyone thinks it means that you're just brave and you're courageous, but in my opinion, that's not at all what it's supposed to mean. Just because the Sorting Hat takes that into effect doesn't really, I think he goes deeper than just that. He kind of looks for different attributes. Like, I'm not completely courageous, but I'm, I still have that specific attribute where I like to help other people and I try to, put myself in their mind and get through, do my best. And even though I'm not brave, I still try to do the best I can. Kind of like Ron. I mean, Ron doesn't completely seem courageous and brave, but he's in Gryffindor anyways because he has that certain attribute where he sticks along with his friends and he gets through to the end.
I think like you bring up a good point about like doing your best, and like, yes, being brave and courageous is part of it, and those are kind of like the key attributes that we hang on to when we're like generalizing the houses. But I think like doing your best, like taking friendship as like one of the most important things, and then striving to like almost be the hero of your own story, like without being cocky or um like arrogant in any way, just like the best attributes of being the hero of your best story.
Yeah, there's so much more than just like bravery. I mean, there's like all this explicit stuff. Like, I'm kind of, I like to do stuff. I like to get things done. I like to, along with that, though, I like to have fun and I like to talk to people and I like to explore and I want to find out way more than what's actually there.
Yeah, so like a sense of adventure too, I think is very Gryffindor. Um, and like wanting to explore things and wanting to get to know the world. Like I feel like that's very Gryffindor too.
Yeah, and I'm totally an animal person. So that's kind of my thing. I'm like, I really want to explore different animals and what they're kind of like because I have two birds.
That's cool. That's cool. Well, I am a Ravenclaw at heart, and I think Ravenclaw, sometimes Ravenclaw gets a bad name because it's like, oh, they're just book smart and, they just want to study and they want to put their nose in the book and they don't want to pay attention to anything else. And that's part of it. Like I think it's like very like wanting to be smart, wanting to make the best decisions possible, very calculated, almost perfectionist like. But I agree with you that there's more to these houses than just what meets the eye. So for Ravenclaw, I think it's getting to know yourself on a deeper level and like wanting to research things and explore things, but in a book way rather than like going out and doing them kind of a way.
Yeah, and that's kind of the thing where like they aspire to know what this is and they kind of just want to explore and they do it in their own way. Like for you, I know you really like to do sort of crafts and art and you have a deep passion in that and that's what puts you through getting to learn everything.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's very almost like a hands-on experience of like, I want to experience the world in this way, so I'm going to do this. So you're right. Like I do art and photography and writing and but I'm also very academic and like I can't get away from school. Like I want to continually learn, but that drive to learn comes from wanting to know more about the world.
And that's the difference from Ravenclaw and the other houses because I mean school is okay, but in my opinion, I wouldn't. If I could choose between staying at school or being hands-on, like with animals and doing other sort of things like writing and,
Going on
just
adventures.
going on adventures, I would definitely not choose going to school.
Yeah, and I think that's the difference between us and our houses. But what about the other two? What about Hufflepuff?
Okay, so my secondary house is Hufflepuff. I actually really like Hufflepuff, and I'm kind of jealous I am not in Hufflepuff because Hufflepuffs are amazing. And to be honest, I think Hufflepuff is the best house out of all of them. And it's like they're
Which is
so
interesting
kind.
because that's what J.K. Rowling thinks too.
Yeah, because they're just like good-hearted. Like anything that you want, they'll kind of like they'll kind of like give it to you in the best way possible. And that's not saying that they're like pushovers or anything, but they're just like so awesome.
And I think of Hufflepuffs as like genuinely kind and like considerate people. Like,
Mhm.
you know how you can always think of that one person in your friend group and you're like, that's just the nicest person. And like,
They're so innocent.
yeah,
They're
more
so
than likely. And then like, that's not a bad thing, but like, they just have like such a view of the world that more than likely that person that you're thinking about, that's like, they're just such a good person. They're probably a Hufflepuff.
And I feel like there's so much more that to Hufflepuffs than just kindness too, because like if you think about Cedric wasn't exactly completely kind, but in the back of his mind, he always did like Harry, and he always wanted to, talk to
Right.
Harry and become friends with him, but he wasn't showing that in a way where he's like, just like, I want to hug.
Right. He wasn't a pushover or anything at all, but he still
Mhm,
wasn't like, don't talk to me. Like, I don't like you. So I think that's a good example. He's a good example. And Newt, isn't Newt
mhm.
Scamander a Hufflepuff?
Yeah, they're more of the type of people where they like, in their back of their mind, they want to be friends with everyone, but they don't show it very much.
Right. Right. And then we have the last one, which is so interesting that you're like a Gryffindor Hufflepuff because I'm a Ravenclaw Slytherin. So like Slytherin would be my secondary house. Which is that's so interesting. I didn't know that your secondary house was a Hufflepuff. But Slytherin, I feel like always gets the rap for being the evil house, quote unquote.
Not
Um,
at all. Not
when
at all.
really that's not them at all, right?
Hmm.
So I think Slytherin, like they're super ambitious. They're very like they very much want to have a name for themselves, whether that be like a
Hmm.
family name or just a name of their own. Like they're ambitious. Like they want people to know of them in the world. And so they're gonna work hard. They're gonna be driven. What else am I missing about Slytherin?
I don't think I think you actually completely got it. Like Draco is a Slytherin, but not for the reason you think he is. Like everyone looks at Draco and they're like, he's evil, he's bad, he wants to do bad things. But
Therefore,
really,
Slytherin, and that's not it.
yeah, that's not it. It's like he's more driven to make friends and he's kind of jealous of everyone else. So his kind of ambition is to be his better self. And even if it's like in a bad way, he wants to try to become a better person, sort of, and like
And like
gain
make a
more
name,
friends.
yeah, and make a name for himself. Like he wants to be a Malfoy so badly that he's
But
willing to
he's
like
not.
right, but he's willing to take on that persona in the last book and be like, maybe I can be evil. And we're like, no, Draco, like no.
Mhm.
So yeah, I think Slytherins are very misunderstood. But yeah, so guys, those are the houses. That's kind of what they represent. So as we go into the next couple of episodes, we'll be sorting them into their houses. We'll kind of remind you of what we've talked about over this segment, about what the houses are all about. But that was just sort of an in-depth look at like what we believe the houses are like. Now, one of my favorite segments, Quick Quiz Quills, the part of the show where we take quizzes and discuss our answers.
These quizzes range from BuzzFeed quizzes to the actual Harry Potter sorting hat quiz. And that's what we're going to be doing today.
Sorting ourselves into the Hogwarts houses to see where our true loyalties lie.
Wouldn't it be awkward if we got different houses than the ones we're already in?
Oh gosh, I really hope that can't happen.
Okay, guys. So both me and Britt have the extended sorting hat quiz on Wizardmore up on our tablets, and we are going to start right now.
Awesome. So we'll just run through the questions and run through what we're picking, and we'll see exactly what we're going to get. The cool thing about this quiz is it does give you a percentage of what you are for each house.
Yeah, so we can see if my secondary house is actually Hufflepuff.
And mine is actually Slytherin.
Yeah, so it's going to be super cool. I really hope I do get Gryffindor because in my heart, I know I'm a Gryffindor.
Same when it comes to Ravenclaw, but we'll see. All right, let's go.
Okay, so the first question is actually, I don't know, this quiz is very weird with the questions, but it's dawn or dusk.
I personally am picking Dusk.
Okay, so I may be dumb, but can you please describe to me what these are?
Yes. So dawn is at the beginning of the day. So right when the sun is coming up in the sky, and dusk is at the end of the day, right when the sun is going down.
Okay, so I have to say, dawn is very beautiful because it's like you can just see the sunset in the sky, the sunrise in the sky, and it's very awesome. But on the other hand, I'm a big night owl, so that's the reason I'm going to be picking dusk.
And that's why I picked it as well. So the
Here we go.
next question is forest or river?
Hmm,
I personally am picking forest.
that's interesting because I think I'm going to pick forest too.
Okay. I really love like trees. Like I'm not a big river person. Like if it said forest or ocean, that would be different, I think.
Because it's big. It's a big, like, I don't know. The forest just seems kind of cozy, mysterious, and that's definitely the reason why I kind of want to go into it. And I am a big nature person, so.
Yeah, that works.
So the next question is moon or stars?
Moon for me. Definitely moon.
Stars. Mine's stars.
I don't know. Like I love seeing like the different shapes of the moon and seeing how big the moon can get.
I was just talking about the other day with my dad, like the crescent moon. It's like it's amazing because it's like Disney movies and you just see it and it's like that just reminds me of the moon. But then again, it's so amazing to like look up into the sky at nighttime and just point out all those tiny little stars, but they're not just like little dots in the sky. They're more like you can kind of see the sparkle in them.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. That is nice.
Mhm.
I just love the moon.
So right now I'm half and half, 33% for Gryffindor and for Hufflepuff, and I'm 17% for Ravenclaw and Slytherin.
That's so funny. I'm the opposite. So I have
That's crazy.
33% Ravenclaw, Slytherin, 17% Gryffindor, Hufflepuff. All right. So which of the following would you most hate people to call you? And the options are ordinary, ignorant, cowardly, or selfish.
Oh, okay. So this one's very interesting because about a week ago I was watching one of my favorite YouTubers do this quiz, and it's like it's very hard because to be honest, I don't care. Um, it kind of bothers me when people say that I'm selfish, but it's a little bit. It's on the bend. When people say I'm cowardly, it makes me like kind of mad. Like I'm not that cowardly. Like even though I don't like specific stuff, that doesn't make you like just because you don't like if you're afraid of like the dark, that doesn't make you cowardly. That just makes you
So then
like scared of something.
I think you should pick cowardly. Like you just got really angry about that one.
I don't know. I'm gonna go through the other ones first. And then there's like ignorant, and it's like, why would you care if someone calls you ignorant? It doesn't really matter. I mean, and the only reason I'm saying that is because I am ignorant, and I kind of embrace that. And with some things, it's just like, oh, so that's what that actually means.
That's so interesting because like I think I'm going to pick ignorant because I hate it when I don't know things. And like for example, guys, I am a teacher and I tutor some students at the end of the day, and there was one day last week where one of my middle schoolers came in with some math, and I've never had a problem with middle school math before, but there was one problem that I just for the life of me could not get the right answer. Like I knew what the right answer was, but I couldn't get it. And it
Ooh.
hurt my heart to have to tell this student I don't know the answer. And so like
Ah,
I took it home with me and I sat there for 20 minutes and figured it out, and I had to call her and apologize that I couldn't do it during our session. And so like I just cannot stand being ignorant.
the Ravenclaw? The Ravenclaw can't figure out a math problem. Whoa.
A middle school math problem, guys. I'm way past middle school, so it was very humbling for me.
Yeah. And also, I'm not sure if you know this, but there is a bit of an age gap. She's an adult. I'm not going to tell you my age, but I am somewhere from middle school to high school. So, yeah.
Yeah, so a bit of an age gap.
Yeah. And then the last one is ordinary. And honestly, it bothers me. Like, I would say it does bother me a lot if people call me ordinary because I'm I'm not that ordinary. And I feel like it bothers me a little bit more if people call me weird because it's like, I mean, I am weird, but does that matter?
Right.
Like, not really. So I don't think ordinary is what I'm going to choose. So I'm definitely going to choose cowardly.
Nice. And I'm going to choose ignorant. I just have to.
I gotta say, that just brought my Gryffindor way up.
Brought my Ravenclaw way up as well. That's so funny.
Okay, so after you have died, what would you most like people to do when they hear your name? Miss you, but smile. Ask for more stories about your adventures. Think with admiration of your achievements. Or, I don't care what people think of me after I'm dead. It's what they think of me when I'm alive that counts.
These are so interesting. There's two that I really am struggling to go between. I think
Mhm.
the first one that I want, and this is like, again, this is not arrogant of me, but I think like people thinking and at like, this sounds so bad, but to think with admiration of like what I've achieved, like, and what I've
Slytherin!
like, I want my life to be like full of purpose. And so that's what I'm thinking when I'm thinking about that one. But the second one would be like, miss me, but smile to know that I had a good life. You know what I mean?
Yeah, okay, so I'm gonna do Miss Me But Smile because honestly, what does it matter if I didn't like people look at me and think of my achievements, it's like, okay, cool. But like, I don't really care about that. And then ask about your stories, about your adventures. It doesn't, honestly, why does it matter if people keep on asking about my adventures? Like, I think it's better if they explore and do their own adventures. And then I don't think about what people think about me after I'm dead. It's what I don't care what people think of me right now. So that just doesn't fit. But if someone misses me, then that just kind of like makes me happy, you know?
Yeah, I get it. That I feel like we're very different people. But that's
So
not a bad thing.
Yeah. So what are you gonna go with in the end?
I think I'm gonna go with think with admiration of your achievements.
Okay.
Judgment.
No, I'm not judging you. I'm just saying that's interesting.
All right, guys. The next question is, how would you like to be known to history? How would you like to be known to history? That's a weirdly stated question.
It
Um,
is.
I feel like it should be how would you like to be known in history, but that's beside the point. The options are the wise, the good, the great, or the bold.
So this is very hard. I don't want people to think that I'm the type of person that's gonna jump off a cliff. So, because I wouldn't jump off a cliff, and I don't want people to like misthink about who I am. Like, I'm not this great person that's gonna go and do what everyone tells me to do. So I'm definitely not picking the bold. And the great, I mean, that just seems like no. I don't want someone to think that I'm like, I don't know. I don't want someone to think, oh, I'm just amazing because I'm famous.
Kind of
And
arrogant
then
a little bit.
yeah, and I don't want to say um I don't know. The last two are like the one I'm stuck between. It's like the wise. Oh, I do want people to think I'm wise. I want people to think I'm smart. But what's most important to me is the good. I want people to think that I was a good person and they should sort of follow in my footsteps in being the best person I can be.
Then I think that's decided. I think you should go with the good.
Yeah. What about you?
So I think I'm gonna go with the wise, just because, like I said, like it really hurts me to think. And this is just bringing out, like, again, like I feel like I keep having to justify that I'm not trying to be arrogant, but like I want people to think like, oh, like she made good decisions and like she did great things in her life. And so to me, that is what a wise person does. So I'm gonna go with the wise.
Okay. So given the choice, would you rather invent a potion that would guarantee you love, glory, wisdom, or power?
Oh man.
This is so funny because the person that I was watching chose power, and I'm like, you want power?
I don't know. Like I'm kind of thinking power.
You want power?
It's between power and wisdom.
The thing is are you going to use this power to do something good?
Well, yeah. I mean, I would hope
Mm.
so.
Or are
Uh
you going to use it to like, you know, like
lord over people.
get whatever you want?
No, I like if I had power, like I would definitely want to do some good in the world. And so that's what I'm thinking about when I say power. Like again, I feel like I have to justify myself. Like it's not like I'm trying to be like this almighty person or whatever, but to have power, you can affect a lot of change. So which one do you think you're gonna go with?
Okay, so I don't care about power as long as I'm like, it's fine to be poor if I'm still able to do stuff, like if I'm still like if I'm poor and I'm able to like talk to people and people won't look at me weird, like I have something over them, then it's kind of okay. Wisdom, I kind of get the wisdom factor. I do want to be smart. And glory, I get the glory as well. But do I really want people to look at me and think, "Oh, cool, you did something great"? Maybe I might think that one,
Maybe.
but then there's love, and love is like in my opinion, is love is there, but true love. I'm not sure if I actually believe in true love. I get that there's people that you love, but that could easily fall apart or, could easily grow like as time goes on.
Coming from somebody who is a Hufflepuff / Gryffindor. I feel like for some people, like love is not super easy, so I could see the draw to wanting to invent a potion for love.
Yeah,
Um,
so even though I'm like partially Hufflepuff, I still don't think that's like my main goal. I don't want love. I don't want someone to love me because that's just like it's kind of fake. That person's not really gonna love you. If that wears off, it's gone.
I see what you're saying. I thought you meant like love is fake. I'm like, love's not fake. That's such a horrible way to think about life. But what you're saying is like love in this form would be fake.
Yeah, and like true love is also like that's not really a thing. You got to work for it.
Oh, I agree with you. I agree with you. So what are you gonna pick?
I'm gonna pick wisdom because I want people to think I'm smart.
And I'm picking power. Interesting. Once every century, the flutterby bush produces flowers that affect their scent to attract the unwary. If it lured you, it would smell of a crackling log fire, the sea, fresh parchment, or home. I think
So
these
hard.
are such good options.
I honestly hate the smell of the sea because I don't know, just like fish. It's like no, I'm getting rid
That
of
is
that one.
so not what I think about when I think about the sea. I think about like the salt smell in the air. That's so funny.
But
But
there's
then
no
again,
salt smell. It's just fish.
but then again, you live near the ocean and I don't, so like you get that more than I do.
You don't smell the sea very much.
I don't. I don't. I think
Mm,
I'm stuck between a crackling log fire because but like it's hard for me to separate the sound and the smell of that.
mhm.
So I think I'm like combining the two. So I don't know if that one counts. But then also fresh parchment. Like I think of like a brand new book and like flipping through a brand new book, and that just makes me want to melt.
Okay, so which one are you gonna choose?
I think I'm going with fresh parchment.
That makes sense. I mean, I love the smell of fresh parchment. I also love the smell of fire. But I was like sitting by the fire the other day and I was like, it was very, very hot. And I was like, it's like a cold day outside and it's just so hot. And it's just like, I mean, it smells okay. I mean, it feels nice sort of for like the first 10 minutes. But then I was like, no.
You're combining senses. This one's just off smell.
Okay, fine. Then just off smell. I still don't see the appeal very much.
But I think we're forgetting one. What about home?
That's the one that I'm gonna choose.
You're picking home. That's awesome. I will agree. Like our mom, guys, like her house always smells really, really good. So I could see picking home as well.
And it's not really like the smell of home. It's just like it kind of feels like home, and that smell kind of relates to the feel good like kind of vibe. Because if you were like in like a haunted house and you were surrounded by cobwebs, that does not smell or feel like home.
Yeah. And I think it's cool how like scents bring you back to certain memories and stuff. So I agree with you. All right. So where do you stand on your percentages so far?
Ooh, uh, Hufflepuff.
Really?
I'm a Hufflepuff right now, but
That's so
I
interesting.
that's weird because I'm a Gryffindor, and we were just talking about how I don't know. I'm 45% Hufflepuff, 27% Gryffindor, 18% Ravenclaw, and honestly, I don't see Slytherin in me at all. But I have 9% Slytherin.
So for me, it's 55% Ravenclaw, 27% Slytherin, and it's tied 9% and 9% for Gryffindor and Hufflepuff.
That's interesting.
Isn't
So
that
I might
interesting?
end up being a Hufflepuff. I don't like that.
You might. That's so well, we'll have to see how we keep going.
I am not changing my house, by the way. If I do, and that's a Gryffindor thing to say too.
It is a
I'm not doing
Gryffindor
it.
thing to say. It is. It is.
Okay, so 4 goblets are placed before you. Okay, I can't do an accent, but which would you choose to drink? The foaming, frothing, slithery. Oh my gosh, guys, I'm reading this right now, and all these things seem very hard to say. And since we have a Ravenclaw over here, I'm gonna let the Ravenclaw. I'm gonna let the Ravenclaw say them.
All right, guys. So here's what they say. They are quite interesting and like tongue tying phrases. So the first one is the foaming, frothing, silvery liquid that sparkles as though containing ground diamonds. The smooth, thick, richly purple drink that gives off a delicious smell of chocolate and plums. The golden liquid so bright that it hurts the eye and makes and which makes sunspots dance all around the room. Or, lastly, the mysterious black liquid that gleams like ink and gives off the fumes that make you see strange visions. All right, I'm going to nix the last one. I don't want to see strange visions. I don't want to drink something mysteriously black.
So you're just getting rid of that?
I'm getting rid of that one.
Okay. Okay, so I'm getting rid of the golden liquid that burns so bright it like hurts your eyes, because it's like, why would you drink that?
I agree. So let's get rid of the last two. So we're between.
No.
What do you mean no?
I might keep in the last one. That's kind of interesting.
Oh, you're so weird. Okay, so I'm getting rid of the last two. Which keeps foaming, frothing, silvery liquid that contains ground diamonds or smooth.
Diamonds don't appeal to me.
Me neither. But that one appeals to me more than the black one. The smooth, thick, richly purple drink that smells of delicious chocolate and plums. I think I'm gonna pick that one.
Okay. So I'm a big foodie. I love chocolate and plums. And I like, ground diamonds. That doesn't really appeal to me because it's just like an item. It doesn't really matter. It doesn't it's not like it tastes good or something. So if I'm gonna eat diamonds, it just doesn't sound right. But the mysterious black liquid that gleams like ink and it gives off fumes to make you see strange visions. Like, what if you could solve world hunger with those visions?
You think of things so weirdly. I think of this sounds like drugs to me. And you think I could solve world hunger.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna pick that one.
Oh gosh. Okay. All right. The next one is, what kind of instrument most pleases your ear? The violin, the trumpet, the piano, or the drum?
Okay, so this is actually really interesting because the one that I would choose isn't on here. I am a cellist, if you didn't know, and I really like the cello. I love how it sounds, especially if you're a real professional and you see that person have the love that they put into a cello. It's so amazing. But the other ones, it's kind of hard to choose from because it's like the trumpet. I really don't like band instruments. I'm so sorry for all those band people out there. You're probably so mad at me right now, but it's just loud noises and it's not nice.
I think your ear is just more tuned to soft and gentle things, and band instruments they're not supposed to be. They're loud.
It's kind of like the drums. The drums, I think it's fun to play the drums. I don't think it sounds nice.
See, I would disagree. I am in between the piano and the drum. I love the violin. If anybody knows me, I love the violin. I love how it sounds. But I often listen to piano music when I'm working and when I'm stressed out. And then drums is what I listen to when I listen to the music that I like to listen to. I'm listening for the drum in the background.
I hate the violin.
With a passion.
So much. Because I play the cello and it's like a low string instrument. And I go over to the violins and they play by themselves. And it's just like.
That was a horrible sound. Don't ever do that again.
And it's just I don't like that. It sounds so squeaky and so not nice.
Oh gosh. Again, sorry to all the violinists out there.
Yeah. So if I were to choose one, I would choose the cello, but it's gone. And the piano's actually in the middle of all these, and it actually sounds nice. So I'm going to pick the piano.
I'm picking piano as well.
So you enter an enchanted garden. What would you most be curious to examine first? The silver-leafed tree bearing golden apples, the flat red toadstools that appear to be talking to each other, the bubbling pool in the depths of which something luminous is swirling, the statue of an old wizard with a strangely twinkling eye.
Oh my gosh. Well, one, I think a bubbling pool with something luminous swirling in it, I'm going to stay away from that. I don't swim very well, so I'm not about to fall in that pool.
I think that's the one that I'm going to choose.
Okay, well then for mine, I am stuck between. Actually, I really like all three of them, so this is going to be really challenging.
Yeah, I would definitely choose this one because it's I don't know. I hate the smell of the water, but I think it's very calming to be in the water. And if something luminous is swirling, once again, I want to know what it is.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna go with the fat red toadstools that appear to be talking to each other. How often do you
Oh,
see talking toadstools?
in the wizarding world, a lot, probably.
I don't know. I think that's what I'm gonna pick.
Okay, that's cool, I guess.
All right. 4 boxes are placed before you. Oh, another thing placed before us. Which would you try and open? The small turquoise shell box embellished with gold, inside of which some small creature seems to be squeaking. The gleaming jet black box with a silver lock and key marked with a mysterious rune that you've known to be the mark of Merlin. The ornate golden casket standing on clawed feet, whose inscription warns you both secret knowledge and unbearable temptation lies within. Or the small pewter box, unassuming and plain, with the scratched message upon it that reads, I open only for the worthy. These are hard. I think I'm going to get rid of the one that says I open for the worthy, because what if I'm not worthy? Then I just have a box.
Awkward. Yeah, I
Awkward.
guess so. Okay, that makes sense. I'm gonna let you choose first. I don't know.
Okay, so let me just talk through them for a second. So the ornate golden casket with the clawed feet, that's cool. But it says like unbearable temptation lies within. I don't think I want to be like unbearably tempted.
I don't want to
So
be tempted either.
yeah, so I think I'm gonna get rid of that. The secret knowledge thing does kind of appeal to me, but I don't want the temptation. So we're gonna nix that one.
Mhm.
And then so we're left with the tortoiseshell box that has a small animal in it, which
I don't
poor
want that.
animal, or the jet black box with a mysterious room with the mark of Merlin. I think I'm gonna go with that one because Merlin was a pretty smart and awesome guy, wizard as well. So I think I'm gonna go with that one.
That's what I'm thinking. Merlin. We don't know Merlin. Merlin's awesome. Merlin's wise. He's
Like the
awesome, but
original wizard.
he is. But like, what if he's like really mean and intimidating and like doesn't like you?
That's true. But it's only the mark of
So,
Merlin.
I don't know, but what if something to do with Merlin's inside?
That's true. That's true. So are you picking this creature?
No, I don't. No. To be honest, I feel bad for the creature. I could help the creature, but I'm I like more medium-sized large animals.
Poor creature.
Except if they're birds. The birds, I hope it's not a bird because I love birds.
So which one are you picking?
Small pewter box.
Really?
Well, what
I
if it
mean,
opens?
you
If it
probably are
opens,
worthy being
I
a
would be worthy.
Gryffindor.
Okay, small pewter box. Shows it.
All right.
A troll has gone berserk in the headmaster's study at Hogwarts. It is about to smash, crush, and tear several irreplaceable items and treasures. In which order would you rescue these objects from the Trolls Club if you could? Okay, so this one's going to be a little bit hard because there's lots of options. But there's first a nearly perfected cure for dragonpox, then student records going back 1,000 years, finally, a mysterious handwritten book full of strange runes. So which order would you do it? A cure for dragonpox, student records going back 1,000 years, and handwritten book full of strange runes.
I think this is so easy for me.
Really? So what would you do?
I think I would do the Book of Runes because maybe that has the cure for dragonpox in it. Then the dragonpox, then the student records, because like why do we need student records?
But like the thing is, how important is this dragonpox thing? Like, is it affecting the world?
I mean, that's another thing. Like, I don't know.
I'm definitely gonna put the student records in like it's
At the
like
end.
I don't need them. Like I don't want them. I like throw them away.
Right.
But I'm gonna do the same order as you. I want the mysterious runes first, and then the dragonpox, and then the student records.
That's what I picked as well. Which of the following do you find most difficult to deal with? Hunger, cold, loneliness, boredom, being ignored. I think I know yours.
I don't like to be ignored.
I was gonna pick that or boredom for you.
Boredom. I don't. I'm not big. Maybe.
Don't lie.
I
You
do
don't
get
like
bored a lot. But I don't think I'd choose that for. I don't find it most difficult. I mean, loneliness. Oh man, I've been alone before, and it's like if you're alone for a long time, then it's like it gets pretty sad. And then there's hunger and colds. Hunger, I don't really care. I mean, I am hungry a lot, but that's okay. So I'm hungry a lot, so why would I care about being hungry? Cold, I like winter the most. Winter is my favorite season, so I'm fine with that. So I think I'm gonna pick loneliness because it's like you don't want to be alone. If you're alone, then what's even the point?
See, I think for me, like, I don't do well when I get hungry. I turn into an
Mhm.
angry elf. So I think I'm gonna pick hungry. If I had to pick a second one, I would pick cold because I don't do very well with being cold either.
Mhm. Where's
So,
loneliness on your list?
loneliness would probably be third. So
Okay.
hunger, cold, loneliness, then boredom, then being ignored. So in the order that they listed them, actually.
Okay, so I get that. Which would you rather be? Envied, imitated, trusted, praised, liked, or feared?
Oh man, they're just starting to give us so many options here.
So many.
Oh, these are hard too. Okay. I think I'm gonna get rid of envied because I don't really care about
Same.
that.
I don't want people to be jealous of me. Like, why does it matter?
So, and then the next one, like, I
I'm gonna
think
get rid of that one too.
intimidated and feared are similar.
You mean imitated?
Oh,
Like
imitate.
people copy you.
I thought it said intimidated.
Okay, no, it means imitated. And imitated is like
Imitated. I
they try to
understand.
be like you. And I honestly find that annoying. So no.
Yeah,
No
no.
one copy me. I want to be my own person. Trusted?
I like that one, but is it the one that I would rather be?
Praised.
No, I don't really care about that.
Praised is like, I don't know. I don't want to be praised. Liked.
That's a good choice.
Why does it matter if people like you? I mean, it's like, I don't care if people like me. I just care if I have friends.
Okay,
So
feared,
feared, definitely not. Why would I want to be feared?
so trusted.
I'm going with trusted. What are you going with?
I'm going with trusted too.
Okay.
If you could have any power, which would you choose? The power to read minds, the power of invisibility, the power of superhuman strength, the power to speak to animals, the power to change the past, the power to change your appearance at will. Oh, I know yours.
No, it's changed.
Really?
I want to be a vet, but that means I want to be able to connect with the animals. I want to be able to have a bond. I feel like that's what's so special about animals against humans is I've thought about this a bit more. It's like it doesn't matter if you can talk to them. It matters if you have that special bond that no one else has with these specific animals that only you can, get to know.
Okay. Okay. I
So
like
I'm
that.
getting rid of the one that you think I was gonna choose.
Look at you growing and changing.
Yeah, which one are you gonna choose?
I think I'm going to pick the power to change the past.
Okay.
Yeah, I
Okay.
really think so because I think like we all have regrets sometimes. And like it's
Mhm.
like if I were to change that, would that affect my future and my reality now? I think it would. So I think being able to change the past would change your reality.
This is so hard though, because like if you change your past, then you won't learn from it.
That's
I
true.
mean, I
Or
guess
would you learn from it?
I guess you'll learn from it, but really it's kind of like changing your what's happening.
Well, which one would you pick then?
I kind of like that one, but the power to read minds, I feel like if you could choose to read their minds, that could be pretty cool.
But can you turn it on and off, or is it like always you're like, oh my gosh, your mind?
If I can always hear it, then definitely not.
Yeah.
Power to change your appearance, again, I don't care. That would be cool. It would be so cool, but I don't. It's not needed. Superhuman strength, I don't know. Invisibility, I don't know. Change the past, I don't know. Which one?
This is hard for you.
I don't care about changing the past because I feel like what's the point in changing the past? You need to change your future. Because if you change the Revolutionary War, then what's even the point? Because everyone else that could happen again now.
Because we're not learning from the past.
Yeah. So I feel like don't mess with the past because it could have consequences. It's kind of like the time turner, and they don't want to change too much with it.
Interesting. I'm still holding to it. So what are you picking?
Oh man, I thought I could change your mind. Okay. I'm gonna go with invisibility. I think that could be super cool. I can turn invisible. I can like figure things out that no one else knows. And it's kind of like reading people's minds, except you know what they're saying because they don't know you're there.
But okay, I see that. All right. So what are you most looking forward to learning at Hogwarts? Apparition and disapparition, like being able to materialize and dematerialize at will. Transfiguration, turning one object into another object. Flying on broomsticks. Hexes and jinxes, all about magical creatures and how to befriend and care for them. Secrets about the castle, or every area of magic I can.
I think I know what you're gonna choose.
Which one?
Everything.
You're so right. That's totally what I'm picking.
And then for me, it's like I don't really secrets about the castle. I can find that out, but I don't want to focus on that. I want to be able to run into it and have that come up. And then
Okay.
there's like flying on a broomstick. I'm not that big into sports. I think I would like to do Quidditch, but I don't want to look forward to it because I know I don't have high hopes for it, you know?
Right.
Transfiguration, that's super cool. Super Professor McGonagall, and then apparition or whatever it says, being able to materialize and dematerialize at will. That's super cool. But then again, there's animals, and I do want to befriend and care for them, and I want to learn how to do that. I want to be a vet when I'm older, so I'm going to choose that one.
Of course.
Which of the following would you most like to study? Centaurs, goblins, merpeople, ghosts, vampires, werewolves, or trolls?
Werewolves.
Werewolves? Why?
I just love werewolves. I've always been fascinated by werewolves and vampires, and so that's a
Lupin?
close call. I think that's why Lupin like really calls out to me. I think vampires because I've always loved any vampire story, but there aren't a lot of vampires in Harry Potter, so I think I'm gonna pick werewolves.
Okay. Out of all these ones, not trolls, not werewolves. Ooh, I like vampires, but like I don't like how they're like. I don't know. They're not so trustworthy.
Bloodsuckers.
Not ghosts, not merpeople, not goblins. I feel like the only one you can trust is centaurs.
All right.
And you can know that the centaurs are there to help you, not to harm you. So I'm gonna go ahead and pick that.
All right. You and two friends need to cross a bridge guarded by a river troll who insists on fighting one of you before he lets all of you pass. Do you attempt to confuse the troll into letting all three of you pass without fighting? Suggest drawing lots to decide who will fight. Suggest that all three of you should fight without telling the troll, or volunteer to fight.
Hard. What would you choose?
I think I'm going to attempt to confuse the troll into letting us all fight. Brains before brawn.
Might put that as well, but I'm going between suggest that all three of you fight or volunteer to fight.
So which one?
Which one? I don't know. That's hard. I think I'm going to volunteer to fight.
All right.
One of your housemates has cheated in a Hogwarts exam by using a self-spelling quill. Now he has come to the top of class in charms, beating you into second place. Professor Flitwick is suspicious of what happened. He draws you to one side after his lesson and asks you whether or not your classmate used a forbidden quill. What do you do? Lie and say you don't know, but hope that somebody else tells Professor Flitwick the truth. Tell Professor Flitwick that he ought to ask your classmate, and resolve to tell your classmate that if he doesn't tell the truth, you will. Tell Professor Flitwick the truth. If your classmate is prepared to win by cheating, he deserves to be found out. Also, as you are both in the same house, any points he loses will be regained by you for coming first in his place. You would not wait to be asked to tell Professor Flitwick the truth. If you knew that somebody was using a forbidden quill, you would tell the teacher before the exam started.
Ooh, this one's hard.
I feel like it's very easy for me.
Really? What are you thinking?
I would choose lie and say you don't know, because I'm not that type of, I used to be that type of person that would rat people out, but now it's like, you want to stay friends with these people. I mean, I do care about if, like, I'm kind of mad that I'm second place, but I'm not that type of person to go out and snitch. So I want someone else to tell them, but I don't want to tell them myself.
See, I think I'm gonna tell Professor Flitwick that he ought to ask them and then like confront them, because at least then they would have the chance to come forward.
But then I would be afraid he would be like, but this person, Kenneth Campbell, told me to tell you.
Nah,
it's like
Flitwick's
hard.
cool. He wouldn't do that.
Okay, cool.
A muggle confronts you and says that they are sure you're a witch or wizard. Do you? Ask what makes them think so. Agree and ask whether they'd like to sample a sample of a jinx. Agree and walk away, leaving them to wonder whether you are bluffing, or tell them that you are worried about their mental health and offer to call a doctor.
That's funny.
These are great.
I don't know. What do you want? They're all kind of jokes.
I think I would agree and walk away, leaving them to wonder whether or not I'm bluffing. I think that's hilarious.
I like the last one. That's funny. But I might ask what makes them think so, but I don't know. Should I? I feel like in the moment I might question them.
Okay.
So I'm gonna go with that. Which nightmare would frighten you most? Standing on top of something very high and realizing suddenly that there are no hand or footholds nor any barrier to stop you falling. An eye at the keyhole of the dark, windowless room in which you were locked. Walking up to find that neither your friends nor your family have any idea who you are. Being forced to speak in such a silly voice that hardly anyone can understand you, and everyone laughs.
I don't really think I care about the last one.
Me either. I mean, yeah, it doesn't matter. I'm gonna pick waking up to my friends and family not knowing who I am.
For me, it's between that one and standing on something really high and realizing that there's nothing to hold me from falling.
In the moment, which one would you choose?
Standing on top of something.
Okay, cool.
Which road tempts you most? The wide, sunny, grassy lane, the narrow, dark, lantern-lit alley, the twisting, leaf-strewn path into the woods, or the cobblestone-lined street with ancient buildings?
I know which one I'm going to choose, and I choose this one every time.
Which one?
The narrow, dark, lantern-lit alley.
See, for me, it's the cobblestone street lined with ancient buildings.
I see that. It's like, I don't know. I mean, that's not that appealing. I've always hated museums. They're like terrible. And the other ones just aren't interesting. And this one's like, first of all, I love lanterns. They're so fun. And I don't know. They're just fun. And then it's narrow. It's kind of dark. And so anything can happen. So.
Yeah, anything could happen.
I'm going to pick that.
Okay.
Late at night, walking alone down the street, you hear a particular cry that you believe to have a magical source. Do you proceed with caution, keeping one hand on your concealed wand and an eye out for the disturbance? Draw your wand and try to discover the source of the noise. Draw your wand and stand your ground. Or withdraw into the shadows to await developments while mentally reviewing the most appropriate defense and offensive spells, should trouble occur.
I think I'm going to get rid of the first one where it says proceed with caution, keeping one hand concealed on your wand, because I want my wand out. So it's like, do I want to be on the offensive, defensive?
I don't know.
I definitely think I'm not going to like walk into a situation. So I think I'm not going to like go discovering the source of the noise. So for me, it's between draw your wand and stand your ground or withdraw into the shadows. And I think I'm leaning more towards withdraw into the shadows and await to see what's going to happen.
Interesting. I'm going between that one and draw your wand and try to find the noise. Because if you find the noise, you would know what it is and you can run away.
True, true.
And if you know what it is, then you know how to fight it.
But what if you don't want to know what it is?
Well, I guess that's the difference between me and you. I do want to know what it is.
That's true.
So I'm going to pick that one.
If you were attending Hogwarts, which pet would you choose to take with you?
Oh my gosh. I know which one I would choose.
There's so many options. Okay,
I know
a tabby cat,
I know.
A Siamese cat, a ginger cat, a black cat, a white cat, a tawny owl, a screech owl, a brown owl, a snowy owl, a barn owl, a common toad, a natterjack toad, a dragon toad, a harlequin toad, a three-toed tree toad. Three-toed. Oh, it's the same word. Three-toed tree toad.
Okay, so I know this is like, I don't know, me copying Harry a little, but to be honest, Hagrid chose it, Harry didn't, and I don't know, Hedwig's just so cute, and it's like, I want that. I want a little Hedwig, so I'm gonna choose Snowy Owl.
I think I'm going with a cat, and I think I'm gonna go with a black cat.
That seems like you. I get that.
Yeah,
Okay, simple. Black or white?
black.
It depends how you think of it. Do you think of it as dark or good, or do you think of it like
I think
how
if
do
I
you think
had
of
to
it?
wear one color for the rest of my life, I would rather wear black.
I get that. I'm gonna choose white because I think of it as like bad or good.
Good versus evil. Gotcha. Okay, another simple one. Heads or tails?
Heads.
Tails.
That's interesting.
I have no reason for
Left
that.
or right?
Left.
Right. Oh, I hate the
Oh,
answers.
I
I hate
am
it.
so interested. What did you get?
Ugh. First one, 37% Hufflepuff.
Okay.
Second one, 30% Gryffindor. Third one, 23% Ravenclaw. And fourth one, 11% Slytherin. But I feel like I'm listening to myself and I feel like I'm choosing Gryffindor responses. Right? Am I?
I mean, I feel like you're a Gryffindor, but I see also why they may have thought Hufflepuff as well. But like at the end, like Harry, like maybe you're a hat stall and like you get to pick. So ultimately, like yes, this is the quiz, but like you still get a choice.
Gryffindor. I am a Gryffindor. My secondary house is Hufflepuff. I get that. I'm a Gryffindor.
Okay, so I got 42% Ravenclaw, 21% Slytherin, 19% Hufflepuff, and 18% Gryffindor. Which like these are all a lot closer than I've ever had them be before. Like I think like because we talked them through, like I really thought about these answers. So this is the
But
closest my
40
scores have ever been.
But like your Ravenclaw is really high. It's not even like close.
Well, yeah, but like I'm saying, like normally my Ravenclaw is like 80%.
I get that. Okay. Okay. Well, this was actually really fun.
This was fun. It was fun to talk through our different answers.
Now on to the last part, Muggle Mysteries. Muggle Mysteries is a section where we check out the non-magical folk, giving our Muggle news some love.
But today, let's go ahead and talk a little bit about what's going on in our lives so you guys can get to know us a little bit better.
Okay, so me, I don't know if I've said this already, but I'm a big animal lover. I think you could tell by my quiz answers, I am a big animal lover. And yeah, I am. That's like one of my biggest things. I play the cello. I just kind of love the internet. I love to watch YouTube videos. I love to watch Netflix. My favorite Netflix show is Grey's Anatomy. And I kind of like school. I mean, I'm good at school. I have all A's, but it's not my favorite kind of thing, you know?
All right. All right. I think that's a pretty good overall description of yourself. I like that.
Yeah.
So I am a teacher. I currently teach third and fifth grade. I live in Indiana and it's the middle of nowhere and I don't particularly love it, but I'm here and the people are nice. I love art, like specifically digital art and painting. Those two are my favorite. I make stickers and own my own company called A Stick with Brit. And I have a service dog that helps me out. His name is Ace, and he's a Great Dane.
That's pretty cool. Ace is pretty awesome. And yeah, if you want to check out her Stick with Brit website, you can look up Stick with Brit on Etsy.
Yeah, and there's a lot of stickers there that you can pick from if you're interested.
Yeah. So what do you think of me when you think of who's Campbell?
I think of somebody, I mean, I think you covered it, but I think of somebody first and foremost who loves animals, who loves Harry Potter, which is why we're doing this podcast, guys, is like we are both two huge Harry Potter fans.
Harry Potter's a big thing.
Yeah, and I think you can tell, like it's one of the things that we've bonded over as siblings, even though we do have quite an age gap between us. It's something that we've bonded over like since Kinnick started loving Harry Potter. So if you guys were to be able to see his room, like his whole room is a Harry Potter museum. Like it's fantastic.
It's crazy. It's awesome. I have so many wands, so many stuff, all the books.
It's fantastic. So that's really cool. I also think that I would describe you as somebody who's very like passionate about life. And you're kind of a go-getter. Like you want to do a podcast, you want to do YouTube channel, like you're really passionate about video games, like you're just really passionate about life.
Thank you.
Yeah.
When I think about you, I think about a really smart person who really like is very, like you said, I'm passionate. I think you're passionate about different things, but I think you really love to show like your emotions through art, and you love to be like extra awesome, and that's your Slytherin side of things. You love to show the world who you are, and you love to make other people understand and learn what they want to learn that you've already learned because you're a teacher. And you're so super awesome. So yeah.
Well, thank you. Oh, that makes me melt a little bit inside. Well, guys, that's it. Thank you so much for being a part of our first episode. It was wonderful talking to you guys, being able to sit and do some things for a little while. I know this is one of our longer episodes, but it's just because we are getting started. So hopefully you enjoyed it.
Yeah, well, hopefully you'll join us again in the next episode. And if you like what you heard today, please consider subscribing on YouTube and Apple Podcasts.
We also have an email account at wizardrywhimsical@gmail.com if you'd like to send us a comment or maybe even questions, whatever you'd like.
See you next time on Whimsical Wizardry.